Are you a Christian songwriter wishing you could be heard by the right people in Nashville? Yeah, we get it. You've been writing for years, but you have no idea how to be heard, how to get your songs out there, or how to connect your talent with opportunities. You feel stuck and wonder if you'll ever get a real break. NCS Bootcamp is your chance to be heard by taking your songwriting to a level you've only dreamed of. It gives you hands-on, personalized coaching and mentoring to help you think and write like a professional Christian songwriter determined to impact the world with your songs. If you're ready to empower your songwriting dreams, go to NashvilleChristianSongwriters.com/bootcamp to book your free songwriting breakthrough strategy call today. Become the songwriter you were born to be with NCS Bootcamp.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Song Revolution podcast, brought to you by Nashville Christian Songwriters. Nashville Christian Songwriters exists to empower Christian songwriters worldwide. I'm John Chisholm, and this podcast exists to bring you valuable songwriting insights, inspiration, interviews, and just all around good fun with some of the greatest songwriters, producers, arrangers, artists, and creatives, and beyond. You can find out a whole lot more about us at NashvilleChristianSongwriters.com. Hey everybody, welcome to the show today. I'm so glad you're here, and I thought that we would just start things off a little differently with a sing-along. We haven't done that yet, so jump in just as soon as you recognize a song, okay? Here we go. Nothing can separate, even if I ran away. Your love never fails. Go to the chorus. You stay the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There may be pain in the night, but joy comes with the morning. Now, why in the world would I pick such a high key? I don't know. I'm sorry about that. It's just where it started. This, of course, is Chris McClarney's big song, Your Love Never Fails. One of my faves. I hope that you love it. I've sung it. I've led it. I actually led it recently, and I hope I did a better job of singing it than I just did with you guys. But hey, it was fun starting off that way. So we did a show with Chris a few months back, and I just wanted to make sure that you heard it. It's one of my favorite shows. Chris and I had not met before the day that we got together, actually in person, which I love. And we laughed. I mean, we laughed and we laughed and we laughed. And that to me is just a real sign of freedom when you can get with somebody and laugh and have a good time. And so I'm just really excited to bring this encore episode from the Song Revolution podcast archives to you with global worship leader, amazing songwriter, and just a great guy. If you met him, you'd probably have a good time laughing too. Chris McClarney. Hey everybody, Chisholm here, sitting with my new friend, the one and only, inimitable, Chris McClarney.
Amazing.
Hey,
Thanks for having me.
Man, dude, it's the privilege is mine. I have admired and followed your ministry for, quite a few years. Of course, Your Love Never Fails, and just, I don't know how many times I've led that. I've never done it justice, probably like you, but man, the pleasure's ours. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, now you've just gotten back from a pretty quick trip to Africa.
Yeah, South Africa. God was doing a ton of stuff there, but for some reason, the main thing I remember is we got to pet cheetahs, which was pretty amazing.
Jeez, and was your heart racing or?
No, they were they were like dogs. They were so tame. Just chilled out.
Domesticated cheetahs. That's a band name. The Domesticated Cheetahs.
We should start that band.
I love that. That's very cool. Yeah. So just like pet one or a bunch of them, or?
Well, they were babies. So I pet a few baby cheetahs and then one big cheetah.
Nice.
Which was great.
Nice. Yeah. Did they give them names like dogs?
Yeah, but Bella was the big one.
That's
Bella.
Cool.
I remember that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Bella and the Domesticated Cheetahs. Now, what kind of band would that be?
Oh, gosh. It's definitely... I don't feel like it's a Christian band.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I don't think they're playing them on the Fish.
Could be wrong about that. Oh, that's stellar. That's absolutely stellar. Now, you were in South Africa.
Yes.
So, what were you doing over there?
So I'm also in a band called Jesus Culture, and we went to South Africa to play. We led worship, 5 different worship nights, and yeah, it was great.
Wow. Well, that must be a really fun thing to do.
Oh, it's a blast.
Yeah.
It's such an honor. I mean, I'm just a worship leader at my church. Basically, they got really lucky, and I get to travel and write songs. And
wow. Now, who all was on the tour with you?
it was me and Kim Walker-Smith,
Right.
and then the band.
Right.
And that was it.
Jeez. Playing to like huge crowds over there?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, really?
Sold out. Yeah. A couple of arenas, a real big church. I think it held 6,000-7,000.
That must be a blast, to stand there with hundreds of thousands of people and.
I mean, it is super inspiring to see, 10,000 people lifting up the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, very inspiring and very humbling when you're leading one of your own songs and you realize, I was just sitting in my office at church trying to write a song to God for my own church, and then here's 10,000 people singing along, and that's a surreal and very humbling feeling.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, as a songwriter myself over the years and doing the Integrity Hosanna records, traveling to Africa, being able to just, it does humble you, when you're standing there in front of thousands of people and they're jumping up and down and singing your words and your melodies. It's like
crazy.
You'd think it'd make you like proud or something.
Well, I mean, in some ways, it's validating, which is, I think all creatives and songwriters kind of feel this need for a little bit of validation.
You think?
Yeah.
Only by the big badge. It says, love me, please love me.
Please give me attention. So in some ways it is validating, but then that's kind of backed up with this. I don't really know what I did or how I did it. I just feel like I keep getting lucky every now and then. I'm just writing songs for my own church, and so the humbling part is I just don't know what I'm doing. I just feel I feel like if I could do this on demand, that would be a little bit different. But
yeah. Well, you've been doing it for a long time. I mean, you've been doing the worship thing since you were like 14.
Yeah, 14. Which I think I talked to you about. Travis Cottrell was my worship leader back then, and then a guy, Benji Coward.
That's right.
Two Rivers.
Yeah,
Two Rivers. They're the ones that gave me a shot at singing on the team, and then just kept leading worship.
Yeah, we tried to have this interview a couple of weeks ago.
We did.
We kind of got started and then got interrupted, but yeah. So now that's coming back to me that you were with Travis, who is awesome.
He's amazing.
He recorded a song I wrote with my friend George Searcy called "Our Heart." This kind of a big mission song, and So tried to get Travis to record a bunch of mine, but he's kind of picky.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, dude.
Come on.
Just because you have a worldwide global ministry.
Have you heard his new record?
I haven't yet.
It's amazing. It's actually really amazing.
I don't doubt that. It's so good.
He's so good.
We'll do a shout out. I'll tag him in the
there you go. Let's do it.
So Travis gave you a shot. Travis and Benji, who's also crazy, amazing worship leader, songwriter.
Right. Well, I was 14. We were in a home group, and somebody said, "Does anybody here know how to lead worship?" And I was like, "Sure, I do." I'd never done it, but it doesn't seem that hard. Like you're just singing songs, and I knew how to play 4 chords, so
that's all you need.
That's it. Yeah, that was it, literally. And then Started leading worship for that home group, and then, like I said, Travis let me start leading for the youth group with him. I was just singing backgrounds, and then Travis went on to the big church, so he started leading worship for main church.
Oh, yeah.
Big church is what we called it back then. And then that's when Benji came in and took over leading.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Wow. Such a legacy. I mean, you've got had some great mentors there.
Oh, for sure.
They're still going at it strong. Here you are on a global platform with Jesus Culture and some cool people. And back, I want to go back to the humility thing, because I know that, and the validation thing, because I think that's a real important topic for all of us creatives. You know, I mean, we all really, we want to be, it seems crazy, right? There's a little false humility that goes into this, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I just want to glorify God, you know, and I don't want to, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to, it's not about the money. Right?
Right.
And yet,
which
deep
in some
inside,
ways it is true.
Yeah, some ways.
Yeah.
But what about the real side?
Right. Well, and I think at the core, there is this desire for, like, just serving God. I just want to write songs that honor God. But there is this, like, nagging thing that's kind of chipping away at you all the time that is like, well, you're not as successful as that, or you're not, and it's kind of bad, because the industry kind of it helps reinforce that. So you're rewarded for successes and metrics that are not, here's the most humble guy before God. There's no award for that at the Doves. So,
and most humble award goes to, I'm so proud of myself.
They take it away if you accept it.
That's the deal.
That's the
deal. You get all the votes and then they don't tell you. It's like they don't award it.
Amazing.
Like, that's too funny.
But yeah, I think there's a need for someone to validate and say, hey, you know, guys like Benji and Travis, part of why I do this today is because they validated me. Mm. They said, hey, I like what you're doing. And it's like, yeah.
How do you keep it in check, you know, today, right? I mean, I'm not trying to dig into your personal stuff, but, you know, actually, Chris, this is an intervention.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Your pride meter's been pegging, you know, since the South Africa thing. So God sent me today.
Ever since the Cheetos.
Yeah, right. Well, God's revealed to me all your secret sins, and I'm going to, like, spout them out here on the podcast.
That'll be great. I don't know if we have enough time for that. It's going to take you a while. You guys buckle up.
For real. No, I mean, you know, we all need accountability. We all need to get the gut check every now and then. I mean, are there go-to people in your life that you feel you're in community with that ground you?
Well, I think that's the magic word. Community is, you have to be in community because it does. It grounds you. It keeps you connected to reality. And honestly, I mean, there's a certain, you said false humility. There's a big part of that. There's also this big part of me that's super insecure. So it's easy to not be prideful when you're just, you know, rolling in insecurity, because you're like, oh gosh, is anybody going to like this record? Or, so yeah, I think that there's all sorts of messed upness in what we do. And, just the fact that we're kind of living our spiritual life in front of other people is a little messed up, or maybe not messed up, but something to navigate that can be, complicated.
Yeah. Wow. I like the term the phrase you just coined, messed upness. There is a messed upness, right? I mean, there really is to what the whole public ministries, spirituality,
Right.
and worship thing,
Well, and especially for you back when you were doing the integrity thing, back then there wasn't a worship celebrity. It wasn't like we were all aspiring to be Delirious or Sonic Flood or Chris Tomlin or trying to move through the years. But when I got into worship, there wasn't this superstardom of worship leaders.
Yeah.
It was just people that wanted to lead worship at their church. And it's weird now because there's such a culture of like superstar worship leaders, which is just funny to see kids that are like, this is what I want to be when I grow up, a superstar worship leader. When most of the superstar worship leaders, when they were kids, were just saying, oh, when I want to lead worship at my church.
Yeah, or I want to be a Ninja Turtle.
Or I want to be a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, it's like,
which is what I would have definitely wanted to.
Which one? What color would you in?
What was the one with the staff? Donatello? I like that guy. Yeah.
Was he the green one or the... I remember by the colors, not
green.
their names.
I think he was the green.
But I'm older than you, so that was...
Yeah. It was the green one.
Yeah.
I remember them by their weapons.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because there was the one with the staff. There was the one with the little pokey things.
Right.
Yeah.
I just remember the green one. That's like, I just wanted to be that. No, but I think it's true, and the teaching that I've done at different Christian universities and colleges, and you see kids and they're really aspiring to be Chris McClarney or, or Cody
They need
Carr.
to aim higher.
Well,
Talk about shooting low.
But no, seriously, I mean, God has put you and Kim and Cody and Chris Tomlin, all these different people in these positions of leadership to an entire, really, we're moving into second generation. I mean, Chris, I'm not sure how old Chris is, but I was an iteration, back 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And then we kind of moved into the Chris Tomlin era.
Right.
And now he's more of almost a father in some ways.
Yeah.
Chris, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry, dude. I'd love to have you on the show. He's like, I'm never getting on that show. But I think the age thing is such a lie. It's such a crock.
Oh, for sure.
But anyway, so we have... my day, that would be considered traditional praise and worship almost, right? I mean, Don Moen, Give Thanks.
Yeah, As a Deer.
Right, Marty Nystrom, Linda Shazo, Lord, You Are More Precious Than Silver.
Oh, I love all those old songs.
Right, I mean, you're only 38, right? You said?
Yeah, 38.
So, I mean, but you've been doing this for so long that...
Yeah. And my parents were very into Christian music growing up, so Sandy Patty and Michael B. Smith, and
Michael,
Lionel Harris,
crazy, my first songs in the industry, Mighty Fortress on Lionel Harris.
Oh wow,
Steve Green.
Oh yeah,
all that ilk. Those were my peeps.
Steve Green is how, this is such a wild story, but it's how we ended up at Two Rivers back in the day, because my dad loved Steve Green. Loved him, but we were trying to find a church, and they had been hurt by some church. My dad was a youth pastor growing up, and we kept bouncing around. He'd been hurt by some churches, and they had some...
Really? That happens?
Yeah.
What?
Your listeners won't believe it. But,
no, man.
Because I'm sure their churches are really healthy.
I bet.
Everywhere. But no, he had been hurt and was trying to find a church that we could call home, but was real iffy about it and trying to go into it with prayer. Loved Steve Green and said on his way to church to God, if you want us to go to this church, have them sing People Need the Lord.
People need the Lord.
And they did that Sunday. And he was like, all right, this is our church.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And then it wound up opening up a whole ministry and career for his boy.
Yeah.
His boy, Chris.
Amazing.
That is amazing. But we're kind of talking about the different iterations and the platforms. Here because of that prayer of your dad and the serendipitous
Right.
thing, right? We're sitting here talking, right? I mean, isn't that crazy to think of?
Gosh.
But what I want to get back to is that God's given you guys such an enormous platform, and there's a weightiness, I've felt a weightiness. I've never been nearly as big as you guys, but
whatever.
But no, seriously, I mean, we all have, it's not about the size of the remote, but it's still, right? I mean, you have a weightiness.
It does. It is weighty. It definitely feels, I still try and just write songs that are up from my heart to God, and also for my church. But there is this weightiness that people that I'm writing songs that kind of give people theology from Scripture that they get to repeat over and over and over, and it's for the church in general, not just my church, because of the platform. People are going to hear it and they're going to lead it at their church, and there's this weightiness to that. I need to make sure that I'm actually saying something, and that it's grounded in Scripture, and because I think part of the culture nowadays is if it feels good, people will sing anything, and you can listen to pop radio, and I used to say it when I was a kid. It's all about the beat. I don't listen to the bad lyrics, but there is
a lie. Well, we all say that.
And somehow I remember all the bad lyrics still.
Yeah. I was like, I don't look at the pictures. I just read
but there's just a truth to the fact that people are kind of repeating things in their head over and over, and the words that are in these songs can either give life or death. The power of life and death is in the tongue, and it feels important and weighty, like you said, that we write good songs.
So what do you wind up talking about in between your songs? What are the themes that are important to you? Do you just set up the songs?
I don't talk a lot.
No,
that's not me at all. I'm actually, I can't even remember, maybe 3 times in the last year I've talked in between songs.
Really?
I know, it's weird.
Dude, you're so fun. I love your life. I'd love to just experience that. So when you go in and do your set, is it just programmed song to song to song, and they know you're not going to talk?
No, I mean, it depends.
How do they know what click track to pull up?
I hate clicks. I hate them. We don't use them when I lead at church. Oh, okay. I hate them. And even when we're on the road with Jesus Culture, we'll use a click for, we've got a couple of big, anthemic, massive arena type songs. Sure, you have to have tracks for, and we've got video content. So
exactly.
And you kind of have to sing the song the way it is on the record so that everything syncs up, so that it feels crazy cool in an arena. Mm-hmm. But once you get through those things, I'm definitely, in South Africa, we kind of had an idea of what we would do, but every night I'd lead a different song. I definitely enjoyed the unknown, the risk of it might fail in the moment. Because it's a great thing that happens when you're off script, where everybody's kind of looking at each other genuinely into the moment. So the bass player's actually having to pay attention to what the other people are playing. He's not just playing what he's supposed to play. And the drummer's having to listen to what the bass player so that we can make good music in the moment, and everybody's so present. And you don't get that when you're just pushing click, And then there's this other great thing that happens when it all comes together, and it's that I can't believe this is working feeling. So everybody's locked in, they're present in the moment, actually worshiping and not just playing notes. And there's this I can't believe this is working feeling. Wow. And it's just, and people perceive it, and it feels genuine because it is genuine, and then it helps people enter in. I really believe it kind of helps. The more risks that we take, the more risks that they take. So, going off script is kind of my thing. I'd say every Sunday we do 3 services, and none of them are the same. And I know that that's weird, and I know a lot of people don't do it, but that is kind of my thing.
Wow. Wow, that's very cool. So it's to be in that back, to the arena thing. I mean, local church, of course, your local church is 3,000 people,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, you're 75 people and you can go off script. You have a lot of other people, all the tech crew and AV, everybody to consider. So if you can convince them to follow you, but that's awesome. But in the arena, to convince those, such a big thing, it seems bigger to me. It might be just kind of the bigger iteration.
Well, I think it's just the aim of the nights. Jesus Culture and my personal style of worship is kind of seeking moments as opposed to playing songs really good. Because I don't think people necessarily need to hear me play a song super good. What they need is to encounter God in a deeper way. And I think part of being a worship leader for me is kind of removing these barriers. This is part of what I think, though, I'm the way I am because I grew up in Nashville. So being at Two Rivers or any of the other churches I've been to in town, it's like a performance almost. Growing up, it was like this, where everything had to be perfect, and it didn't feel like there were times when there was real worship, but a lot of times it felt more like, oh, this is just them singing special songs for us to listen to. And there was no real connection between me and God in those moments. There was times when I felt God, like, oh, I feel awesome or inspired, or, I've learned something new about God. I'm not saying there wasn't value to it. It just didn't feel like I was genuinely connecting in the moment with God. And having been in this, especially in this town where everything had to be perfect because who knows who would be in the crowd. Having grown up around that, I kind of grew up with this, like, when I do that, I'm never going to be that way. So I'm kind of the opposite of that, where I almost prefer it when it's not polished and it feels a little rough around the edges, because I think people perceive that as, oh, well, he's definitely not performing, so we shouldn't just sit here and watch, but actually engage in the moment.
Well, dude, I'm sorry to say you're never going to make it in this town. I mean, it's, if you're not perfect, if you don't put on the show, the worship show, I don't know. What are you expecting, man? I mean, come on. No, that's quite refreshing. And I think that comes through. I told you earlier, I was awake at 3 this morning, and I've been reviewing your new record, Breakthrough, for this interview, but I was up at 3, couldn't sleep because I got so much stinking work to do.
Oh, gosh.
And so I woke wide up and went to the office and got my little AirPods in, and I just looped your new record like 4 times while I'm writing emails and doing stuff. It's awesome, and I think there's a depth. It doesn't feel overly polished. It feels authentic.
Good.
So I think that's coming through.
Because I didn't even overdub some of the vocals. I like it to feel like, oh, he messed up. Because I do mess up. I mess up all the time, every week.
Well, you sang really flat the whole time.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Besides that, I mean, where's the auto-tune when you need it? You're going to hate me, man. I
love it.
We just met, but no, it's great. I didn't hear any like big mistakes or flaws. It just
they did tune it.
genuine.
They tune stuff.
Sure
they make it so that it's bearable. But, I think back to kids looking up to us and wanting to be worship superstars. I feel like somebody needs to be like, hey, it's not what you think. I'm just like you and completely imperfect, and I make mistakes the same way you're going to make mistakes when you're in front of your youth group or church. And I don't always write good songs. I write a lot of bad songs, honestly. I write a whole lot of bad songs. And every now and then I write a song that other people like. And just wanting to be real and kind of not put on, this false show for people, and just let them know, like, anybody can do this.
Yeah.
The same way I did when I was 14, saying, yeah, sure, I know how to lead worship. It's not hard.
Well, talk a little more about the songs on this record, because there was a 3-year gap. 2015 was your last record.
Yeah.
And now you've got Breakthrough that's just coming out. Actually, June 15, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, man. We're like on the day, aren't we?
Tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, sweet.
Crazy.
So talk a little bit about the songs.
Yeah, if I had to give a theme to this record, I've been saying it's the anti-fear record. A lot of the songs are just, I'm not going to be afraid, or I choose to trust, and it's been a real theme in my writing in general, but this one, I think I really dug into it. Just the being a worship pastor at a church, traveling around, hearing people's stories, you kind of hear the same thing over and over, which is, I'm worried. I'm worried my finances aren't going to work out. I'm worried my mom's going to die. I'm worried my relationships are falling apart. I'm worried that I'm not going to amount to anything. I'm worried. I'm so scared, And for me, perfect love drives out fear. And when we are writing songs that connect people to God, part of that process, I think, is going to push fear out of the way. And when I think about what do people need to sing right now at my church, it's, all right, I choose to not be afraid. I choose to trust and to put my hope in God. And so that's what I tried to write songs that said that. And it's hard because you kind of have to, we're trying to balance writing songs that you could sing when you've just lost someone, or when you need hope because your mom has cancer. So how do you write a song that you can sing that's full of hope, and you're like, all right, I'm not going to be scared, but also that's not patronizing to people that have just lost someone. And so, yeah, tried to do that. Who knows?
Well, man, I think you hit that. I mean, when I think back through the songs, on the record, very well crafted, but there's so much heart, so much gospel message, that came through for me anyway, and I'm sure for other listeners. Did you premiere the record on tour when you did the South Africa? You hadn't done it yet because it's too new? We
got it out. Oh, that's the other thing. I hate playing my own songs.
Really? Really?
I think I played it. Well, I played Your Love Never Fails because people wanted to hear that.
Had to.
And I played one other song of mine when we were out there. But, I hate playing my own songs. I know it's weird. I'm a weird person. I just don't. I don't ever want it to be the Chris McClarney show, because that's not it. I guess it sounds a little like false humility, but I really don't. I definitely feel more fulfilled at the end of a Sunday when I know that people were focused on God and not. I mean, you don't want people leaving saying, "Man, that guy sucked," but and you would love it if people left going, "He's awesome." But I feel that doesn't fulfill me. What fulfills me is when I know that they've really connected with God and they're walking away saying, "Man, during worship today, I felt more peace than I felt in a long time." That is fulfilling to me.
Yeah.
And to hear those kind of stories.
So what are some of your favorite songs to lead if they're not yours?
For me, it's the simplicity of singing songs that people know.
Okay.
So any of the big songs, and then there's a few, personal faves that I've always kind of done throughout the years. Lord, I give you my heart. I love that song. Yeah. It's just so simple, and I still do it now. Or
Reuben Morgan.
Yeah, or Heart of Worship, or really anything Matt Redman's ever written, because
he's never written a bad song.
Oh my gosh.
Nah.
Oh.
Well, I have to tell you a story. So,
all right.
Yeah, your love never fails. The second verse. My tech people at a church I was at a few years ago, they put during rehearsal. They put for the second verse. The chisholm is far too wide.
I like that a lot. They should have left that up for the service.
Yeah. So, it's like, come on, guys. I know I need to lose a few pounds, but, don't bust on me. Yeah. So, wow.
I like that a lot.
So I've never sung that song without thinking about that. It's true. It's true. Well, talk a little bit about your process. I mean, yeah, we've all written through the bad to get to the good, but
right.
What's your process?
Well, years ago, I sat down in my church office. This was pre Your Love Never Fails, and when I was at a different church here in town, sitting in my church office, wanting to write songs, and I songwriter geeked out. So I had like folders and rhyming dictionaries and capos and different guitars and highlighters and different versions of the Bible. I was ready to write. This was going to be a great song.
Greek, Hebrew dictionaries.
Yeah. So I'm sitting at my desk. I've got all this stuff laid out on my desk to write. And I prayed this simple prayer. I just said, God, give me the songs of heaven. And my thought was, if I could have the songs of heaven, like that would be the thing that people would want to sing. That'd be the next, I could sing of your love forever. That would be the one. And I had this like feeling that, we just need to tap into what the angels are doing. And so I said, God, give me the songs of heaven. And I felt that the only time in my life I've ever felt this strongly. It might sound weird to some people, but I felt like God showed up in the room. And there was this like, my heart was beating fast. And I was like, my skin was tingly from, like that scared feeling, your hair raised feeling. And I felt like God was there in a very real way. And part of me was like, oh my gosh. And the other part of me was like, okay, here it comes. I'm about to get the next song of heaven. And it wasn't an audible voice of God, but whatever's right below that. I felt like God said, Chris, I already have the songs of heaven. I want the songs of Chris. And it felt like a brick hit me in the chest. And I just wept. I just wept at my desk. And I was just like, and it's true. He has angels that sing all day. But what he doesn't have is me singing all day. What he doesn't have is what is in my heart to him. So I wept and I pulled out these little songs that I started to try and write that I just hated, I wasn't proud of, and I thought they were dumb. And I laid them out. There were like 15 of them. I laid them out. I was like, this is all I have. These are the songs that I have. And I'll give them to you, but I'm not proud of them, but I'll give them to you, and I'm going to make an effort to write my song and not try and find something externally. Like, if I just find the perfect words that rhyme and put them together, but let the song that's inside of me out. That's what I promised him I'd try and do. And in that stack of songs was Your Love Never Fails, which was at the time, not fully formed. It was just pieces of a song. And I left that and kind of started to try and write my songs. Yeah. So when I think about like process, at the core of it is that it always looks different. You know, people say, do you start with lyrics or melody? Who cares? It doesn't really, it's never the same. Sometimes you're driving and you just have a thought about a song. Oh, I should write a song about that. Or sometimes you're leading worship and you take the risk to let the chorus go another time. And instead of singing the chorus, you just sing, you know, a sentence that you just made up in the moment that felt really right. And then sometimes that really is something that touches your heart and the people in the crowd, and you think, oh, that felt important, and I should write a song around that, which is, you know, a few of my songs. Your Love Never Fails came out of that kind of moment. We got to the end of Breathe. This is the air I breathe. I'm desperate for you, God. I'm lost without you. And I was just thinking about how we needed God and how lost we were without God. And I just started saying, because you make all things work together for my good. With the same chords, but just singing my song. And, there's the scripture, it says, God inhabits the praises of his people. And the word praises there is tehillah. You can remember it because it sounds like tequila, which is how I remember it. But it specifically means spontaneous praises. This idea that you're going to sing a new song, like God inhabits that. If you just take the risk, and here's the deal, like sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes they're bad. But I feel like never once have I sung something in the moment, like making up a new song. If I had to describe it, like cliff notes from the worship time, just kind of consolidate what you feel like God was doing in the moment in a sentence and sing it. Never once have I done that and felt like God was like, ew. Because he's not like that. God is always like, wow. I think he loves my songs, even when they're bad. So, I don't know how I got on that tangent, but
I don't know, but I'm going to remember, God never says, ew. Ew. That's a stinky song, Chris.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
I rebuke thee. No. Wow. No, that's amazing. I mean, I have this little soapbox I get on about tips, tricks, and hacks.
Yeah.
I think anybody wanting tips, tricks, and hacks are lazy and are not the kind of people I want to hang around with. Is that too attitude? Is that too much attitude?
No, it's a great amount of attitude. I mean, there really aren't any hacks. It takes effort to write songs. You have to do it. You have to fail. That's the tip. Go fail. And fail in front of people, because it's a lot quicker than failing on your own. The fact that I've been leading worship since I was 14, every week something little goes wrong. And you think, well, I don't want that to happen again, because that felt horrible. When we train wrecked, that felt horrible, and I never want to do that again. And you start learning. That's why I'm able to go off script now, is because I've learned how to navigate the unknown of the worship experience time. But that came from making a lot of mistakes in front of people. Yeah.
Mm. Too fun. I mean, you kind of learn how to navigate when you're in front of people all the time. You have to do that or die, right? Right. Well, what are you supposed to do when there's an arena full of people? Well, when we were in South Africa, Kim was losing her voice, and we had to drop the key. So we dropped the key, and we come in, and guitar is playing in the right key. Jeffrey's playing in the right key, but he says to himself, oh my gosh, I'm not in the right key. So he quits playing. But the tracks are still going. It was a horrible train wreck of a moment, but we just got back into and
nobody in the crowd was like, boo, go home, go back to America. This sucks. Nobody does that. That doesn't happen in real life. So like the train wrecks, even when they're real bad, are never that bad.
You know, we were at Radio City Music Hall years ago for a Rockettes Christmas show.
Ooh.
And their tap track got off.
No way.
They were kicking and their taps were clicking in the wrong rhythm. Now that was awkward.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, ladies, get back on
track.
That was crazy. I didn't even know they did tap track.
I have never heard of a tap track.
Isn't that something? You need a tap track.
We should put that into our worship
songs. You need
songs.
one. You and Kim. Yeah, all these guys up there.
There has to be an Irish record with the tap track.
I think so. You know, I think it would be awesome. Well, okay, so just a couple more quick questions, man. This has been rich. I love it. I knew this was going to be fun, but I love this. So I think you've said so many rich, awesome things. I usually ask, you know, what would you say to aspiring songwriters, worship writers that are out there? But I think you said so much. I don't know if there's anything else you have to say, man. Just go fail. I love when you said
go
that.
fail,
You know?
and have fun. I mean, it. If it's not fun, don't do it. I mean, don't not have fun. But that's my personality. I like to have fun at whatever I'm doing. So maybe do not have fun.
Wow.
I don't know, but.
Wow. And my dad said that to me when I got kicked out of high school band.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got kicked out because I was late every morning. We had to get there early. And, dude, we lived right across the street from the
Amazing.
school. Right across the street.
Amazing.
But I was lazy and I didn't want to go, and I wasn't having fun
What'd you
anymore.
play?
I played trombone and baritone.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's how I got these amazing lips.
Yeah.
You know, tuba. But it wasn't fun anymore. You know, because we had kind of a drill sergeant for a band director, and he wanted to win awards, and that's cool, but I wasn't into it. And my dad said, if it's not fun, don't do it. So I love that. You're kind of echoing. I think that's some sage advice there because, you know, worship should be fun and engaging to your own heart.
Right.
Wow. Well, dude, I think we're done. This has been great.
Thanks for having me.
You guys check out. You're welcome, man. Thanks for having us. And you guys listening, check out Chris's catalog. Of course, is amazing. But the new record drops tomorrow. Breakthrough. Some great songs. So many awesome things. Hallelujah for the Cross. Great new anthem. Crazy Love. Love that.
Oh, we didn't talk about that.
We got a few more minutes if you want to talk about any of this.
No, I was just going to say that's the song I'm most scared about getting dirty emails about.
Crazy.
How could you call God's love crazy? I kept trying to take the word out and put in a different word. Like
reckless.
Yeah.
No. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody did that.
Well, no, what I was going to call it perfect love, but it just didn't feel right. And it is, I mean, it's crazy if you think about it. The God of the universe has everything and gives it all up for us. That's crazy. So I couldn't get away from it, but I am worried that people will get the record and write me mean emails because I've gotten mean emails about other songs.
Well, they're the perfect Christians who are,
yes.
You know, they're like the confession police or something.
Yeah.
Dude, I've had maybe emails. There's some mean Christian people out there.
What?
Yeah.
There are?
Yes, there are.
Oh my gosh.
Man, that's another podcast waiting to happen.
That's a whole series of podcasts.
I'm
Mean Christians.
You, Mean Christians. The Mean Christian series. Jeez. What do you say about that? It's like, get saved, guys. I mean, the mark of they will know we are Christians by our love.
Yes.
By our love. Jeez. But it's a great record. So Hallelujah for the Cross, Crazy Love at the Mention, Over and Over. I'm Listening, featuring Holland. Who's Holland? Tell us who Holland is.
Holland is an incredible artist. Signed to Goatee. I call her Holly because that's her name.
Oh, okay.
But she... I
loved it. I listened to it. It sounds great.
She's got such a good voice. And she sings on the whole record. She's singing BGVs on the whole record.
She's got some breakout stuff on...
but she has her own stuff. HOLLYN.
Yeah.
And just go look her up too. She's incredible.
Awesome. And then Breakthrough, Worth It All, Hiding Place. So just great titles, great songs.
Thank
Love
you.
Saves, You Reign. So, and we're just really proud of this new record for you.
Thank you.
In a Jesus way.
Yes.
Proud in a Jesus kind of way.
And I'm very humble.
Spirit of humility. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, this has been Rich. Chris McClarney, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for listening to the Song Revolution podcast. Go check out Chris McClarney's new record, Breakthrough. Get it now. By the time you hear this, it's out and it will have sold about 1.5 million. So,
yes, Lord.
Yeah, yes, Lord. Amen. So check it out, and we'll see you guys next time on the show.
Hey, real quick before you go, I want to remind you that we have our next NCS Bootcamp beginning on November 12th. The NCS Bootcamp is a premium 8-week online coaching and mentoring experience. I work with you personally to take massive strides toward fulfilling your call to write songs that can impact the world for the kingdom of God. No joke. That's what we're going for. We want to help you write songs that will be remembered long after all of us have gone on to be with Jesus. That's exactly what we want to do. Songs that really can impact the world. So listen, this is what I want you to do. If you think you're ready for a step like that, then I want you just to go to the show notes, click the link that says something about NCS Bootcamp, and just go read about it. That's all I ask. If you're even slightly interested, just go read about it. No obligation. And then if it's something that's resonating with you, go ahead and apply. All that will happen next is we jump on a phone call. I talk to you about your songs. We talk about your goals, your dreams, your call. And then if it's a right fit, we'll all know it. And if not, hey, no harm, no foul. So go ahead and check out that link in the show notes and see if the NCS Bootcamp is the next right step for you. You're called, and NCS is here to help. Hey, thanks for listening to the show today. I'm blown away with the encouragement and inspiration that every guest brings, and today was certainly no different. If you want even more encouragement and inspiration to take your songwriting to the next level, be sure to check out NCS membership over on our site at NashvilleChristianSongwriters.com. We're all about empowering you to become the best Christian songwriter that you can be, and NCS membership is simply the fastest and easiest way to get there. Become the songwriter that you were born to be by joining NCS membership today. I'll see you next time on the Song Revolution podcast.